Ladies and gentlemen, there might just be a new king in town. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another video. So today I'm giving you my review of my most anticipated movie of 2022, The Batman. So before I get into my review or thoughts on this movie, I wanted to clarify there will be zero spoilers in this review. So if you have not seen The Batman, do not worry, zero spoilers in this video. And before I get into my in-depth thoughts, make sure to hit that like button, comment down below your expectations or thoughts on The Batman if you've seen the movie already, and make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, as I'm going to be making a ton of Batman content over the course of the next week. So where do I even begin with a movie of this caliber? Like I said, this is my most anticipated movie of the year. We haven't had a solo Batman movie since 2012 with The Dark Knight Rises. Does this movie live up to the hype is the question that you're all probably wondering. The answer is, it absolutely does, and it exceeded my expectations. And a lot of people have this question going into the movie. Is Robert Pattinson going to be a good Batman or Bruce Wayne? And my answer to that is, Robert Pattinson is the best live-action Batman we've gotten to date. From the first moment I heard him speak as Batman, I just could tell he understands this character. And Pattinson's always been a great actor in my eyes, especially his post-Twilight work. And I feel like this is going to be the role where people around the world are going to welcome him with open arms as a respected actor. This movie is perfect for Pattinson because it is a dark and gritty film. Now, I want to make that extremely clear. There were a lot of murmurs going around about the Batman possibly being R-rated before its release, and upon seeing the movie, I can confidently say it teeters on that line. It's one of the darker PG-13 movies I've seen, and that is solidified through the opening scene alone. I won't tell you what happens, but the opening of this movie is jarring, and it's unlike any other comic book movie opening I've seen in a while. From the way it is shot to the sound design choices in the first 5 to 10 minutes of the film, it automatically locked me in. I knew I was in for something special, and I knew it was going to be unlike any other Batman movie I'd seen. And the way the story is told as well, it's a detective epic, and that's something that we've been lacking in Batman movies, because if you got the Dark Knight trilogy, it's a very grounded, realistic take. It's a Christopher Nolan film, and those movies are fantastic. One of my favorite trilogies of all time, without a doubt. But in my eyes, the epitome of like what a Batman story should be is those Batman Arkham games, and I love those games so much. Arkham City is probably my standout favorite game. This film essentially took the Arkham video games and put it straight on the big screen. We get straight up Detective Batman for 3 hours of a movie. That's something I never thought we would get in live action, and they did it so perfectly. You can tell this is a passion project for Matt Reeves, and I remember vividly when this movie was in pre-production, he had an interview where he talked about he was listening to the Taxi Driver score by Bernard Herrmann, which is a very moody, like nighttime New York City score. And I can see that influence immediately in like the first 15 minutes of this movie. Like when it comes to Detective Batman and the shot selection in this movie, there are moments where Bruce or Batman will be looking in on someone and we'll just see a POV of him, and it's such a well-done shot. There's no dialogue. It's just Batman watching someone and observing, and we really get to see the story told through the point of view of Bruce's eyes. You're going to hear this movie compared to Prisoners, the Denis Villeneuve film that features Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal, as well as Seven, because both of those films are extremely dark thrillers, and I would classify The Batman as a thriller more so than an action comic book movie, which a lot of other Batman movies would fall under that category. This is a straight-up thriller. And one of the main attributes as to why this film's a straight-up thriller is because you've got such a menacing presence in the Riddler. Now, going into this movie as well, people were like, could Paul Dano pull off the Riddler? Oh, absolutely he does. He's one of the most terrifying villains I've ever seen in a comic book movie. The dude is genuinely creepy, and Paul Dano could be up for like a supporting actor awards consideration in my eyes, because the man committed to this role. And I even know there's an interview of him saying he couldn't sleep at night. He was having nightmares because of how terrifying this character is, and that is an absolute fact. Again, I won't spoil anything, but it's extremely unsettling the first time you see Riddler on screen, and anytime he has a scene where he's playing games with Batman or having a little voiceover on the news, it's really scary because of how realistic it is. Like, this is a psychopathic, deranged human who could exist in the real world and who unfortunately has existed in the real world. There's people like this out there, and that's what instills fear in me, is that this is a very realistic take while paying homage to former iterations of the story. And I think another major reason Riddler is so terrifying is because he reminded me so much of the Jigsaw Killer from the Saw franchise. I've seen all the Saw movies. I consider myself a fairly avid fan of the franchise. Not only does he have like the voice and the persona of Jigsaw, but the way he kills different people in this film reminds me a lot of the way Jigsaw sets up traps. It's very disturbing and graphic at times, and again, it teeters on that R rating. I actually watched Batman The Long Halloween Parts 1 and 2 before watching this film, and I'm glad that I did, because I think that there are certain elements from Long Halloween that are definitely adapted into this film. I won't say what. You can obviously save that for the surprise when you go see the movie. But if you are a fan of the Long Halloween comic or the films that were released in 2021, I think you'll definitely pick up on a few things that I thought were really cool homages. I can confidently say I think this is the best arc for Batman in a single Batman movie we've ever had. It's because we get 90% of this movie as Batman in the cowl, not Bruce Wayne. It's a straight up Batman story, and he's playing detective. His role in Gotham City is in question, and seeing Bruce Wayne question his own role in society and moving on into a new chapter of life, especially considering the fact that he's like a year 2 Batman, is a very interesting dynamic that we see throughout the film, and I think they captured it perfectly. Seeing the journey of Batman's arc from beginning to end of this film is perfect, and I am ready to see this character's arc progress through even a few more movies, I would say. There's another element of this film that I love, and that is the relationship between Gordon and Batman. I feel like this encapsulates that relationship the best, as they really feel like partners or companions even. A lot of the times, you know, Gordon is just there and Batman doesn't really have that relationship with him, but Gordon's really sticking his neck out for Batman in this film, and we see their relationship over the course of the film as they're basically partners in crime, like two cops trying to solve a case in like a detective murder mystery. Very much like Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt in Seven, essentially. That's kind of how I view Gordon and Batman. And I think Jeffrey Wright just might be my favorite supporting actor in Hollywood. That man can do no wrong, and his voice immediately like transfixes me. I'm glued to the screen whenever he's talking. And when I was watching this movie, I just knew I loved it because I forgot I was even in the movie theater. Like, I think I can safely say we all drift off from time to time when we're watching a movie and lose interest, especially if it's not that engaging. But with this film, I was so glued to the movie, I genuinely felt like a fly on the wall watching every single scene around me. And it's rare that movies that have my full undivided attention, especially in an era with TikTok and cell phones and all these distractions. This movie for 3 entire hours had me glued to that screen, listening intently to every piece of dialogue. And something that adds to this Gotham City Batman experience is the wonderful score by Michael Giacchino. I think he should get nominated for an Oscar already. His main theme I've been listening to for months, ever since it released. Every time I wake up in the morning, or if I need a little kickstart to my day, I throw on Michael Giacchino's score, and it gets me going. And I can tell you right now, in context, it means more. It is so moving. It gave me chills down my spine multiple times throughout the film. And as an avid movie fan and someone who loves scores, when you've got great direction and great score matched together, it just makes for an absolutely transcendent experience. And I'm just getting giddy talking about this movie, but I want to talk about how crazy this movie really is. There are moments that had me agape in the theater, genuinely shocked at what they actually did and went for. This movie is not your conventional comic book film where you're going to be able to predict what's happening left and right. There are multiple moments in this movie where I was shocked and almost like stood up out of my seat because of how crazy it was that they actually went for moments. It's genuinely one of the fastest 3-hour movies I've ever seen, and I think you guys will agree. So if you have to go to the bathroom, I would try and hold it or go right before the movie because you're not going to want to miss a single second of the Batman. And I'd also have to mention this. The Oscar for most unrecognizable actor in a movie goes to Colin Farrell as Oswald Cobblepot / the Penguin. The man is genuinely unrecognizable. He doesn't have a ton of screen time, but the scenes with Penguin are standouts in my opinion, and I know Matt Reeves had mentioned they might be doing a Penguin show for HBO Max. Sign me up for that because Farrell had so much fun in this role, whether it be the accent or the mannerisms of this mob boss, and I feel like he's coming of his own throughout the movie as well, as you'll see. So I really like to see more of Penguin, and I think he could have a big role down the road in the Batman films. I also want to mention John Turturro as Carmine Falcone, tomato, but he's fantastic in this role. He's not really marketed much. I won't talk about his role in the movie too much, but John Turturro is in this movie, and I feel like that man is just born to play this kind of role. Who's another supporting character in this movie I haven't mentioned yet? Catwoman, and Zoë Kravitz absolutely crushes it. I buy into her relationship with Bruce, and I love a good Catwoman story when we get to see her be a thief at heart, but she also has a really great arc in the movie as well, whether that be with her relationship with Batman or her overall role in the plot. I will not reveal too much, but my goodness, they absolutely knocked it out of the park with every supporting character, giving them their time to shine, fleshing them out fully, and really intertwining all these different character arcs together to create one detective epic of a movie that is unlike any other Batman film we've seen in my personal opinion. I think this movie really delves into themes of loneliness and acceptance and moving on. It's also about damnation and redemption and finding yourself in a crazy world. What is your role at the end of the day? And there is so much to dive into with this movie and digest. I think Matt Reeves fully understands the character of Batman, and you can genuinely tell this is a passion project for the man. There's one scene in particular I can't wait to talk about in my spoiler review where the editing was so well done and matched with the score that I literally just got chills, and I was like, I can't believe I'm witnessing this on the big screen right now. Now, I want to make this clear. It is a dialogue-driven movie, but the dialogue at the end of the day is so well written. I was fully engaged in the story from start to finish. It only felt like an hour and 45-minute movie, when in reality, it is 3 hours long. Now, I will advise you to kind of stay safe on social media because there are certain moments in the film that could get spoiled for you, so always be cautious on social media. But at the end of the day, the Batman has a perfect cast where every single character gets their time to shine. The score is magnificent. It's a gorgeously shot film that feels unlike other comic book movies we get nowadays. And at the end of the day, it's a Batman story with Batman on screen for the majority of the scenes in this film. I know it's only March and there's a long way to go, but I think this movie should be up for serious awards consideration at the moment. It's going to be hard for any movies to top this year. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I thought about this right when the credits rolled. There was not a missed shot in this film. I think every single shot, every single scene, everything was perfection, and it's rare that I even think that when I watch movies nowadays. I can't think of one thing I would change about this movie, but the moment you've all been waiting for. Is this the best Batman movie? And as of right now, Matt Reeves' The Batman is the best Batman film we've ever gotten. I love The Dark Knight, but as a pure Batman movie, I gotta give the edge to The Batman. But The Batman is a word that I rarely use, and if you know me, I don't like to throw this word around lightly. Matt Reeves' The Batman is a masterpiece. So it goes without saying, The Batman gets 5 out of 5 stars for me. It's my favorite movie of the year. I haven't seen many, but I can't see many topping this. I'm recording this 2 days after I watched the film to really let it digest, but it's rare that movies have this effect on me where I can't get it out of my head. Every waking moment since I've seen this movie, I've wanted to go back and rewatch it and digest it more and pick up on more and just dive into the best Batman film of all time. But guys, that's going to do it for my review of The Batman. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, as I'm going to be covering Batman all week with a Batman spoiler review. I'm going to have a Batman movie ranking, Batman actors rank, Batman villains tier ranking, so you're going to want to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you miss out on none of that. I also have a Patreon if you guys want to see more of me and get to know me more on a personal level, where I post extra videos and do live streams over there. That is linked down below. Again, I do have a letterbox if you want to see my written review of The Batman. That is going to be linked down there as well as all my other social medias. I'm active on TikTok, Instagram, all that good stuff. I hope you enjoy the hell out of The Batman when you get to watch it. And if you have seen the movie as of watching this, let me know down below if you think it is the best Batman movie or not. But thank you guys again for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.